Hey, good morning, my friends. It's great to be with you all. It is Phil Friedman here from Friedman Adventures. What a gorgeous morning it is in Southern California. Hope you've got your cup of coffee because I'll get you up to date on everything that is going on and keep you moving in the right direction. All right, I got to tell you, we're on this stop and start springtime routine where the weather gets nice for a little while, we get some solar warming, fish start to bite, and then that's followed up by winds, springtime winds, which are really common here in Southern California. So that's nothing really out of the ordinary. But when we get those winds, we get that subsequent drop in water temperature, and that gives fish lockjaw. They just don't want to bite. We're taking a look at some solar warming that's going to start to occur in a couple of days. We are going to really warm up here in SoCal, and that's always a really good thing. We'll have offshore winds, so it should make the ocean fairly nice in most areas. If you're around passes and canyons, that's going to be a whole different issue. It's going to get really, really breezy, but overall, the near future looking pretty darn good. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Let's go down to San Diego, where the bluefin tuna bite is also a little slower, remaining that way. That's kind of going stop and start. You know, the thing that I want to emphasize here is when I say it stops and it starts, sometimes it just goes bam, right out of the blue. So don't think if you're on a trip that you don't have a chance to knock one out of the park, because you truly do. Look at over there on board the Freedom with Tina Valentine just the other day. Out of the blue, 23 big yellowtail, a big halibut, a gray bite. That means right in the early morning hours. Just took off, and it was really, really good. In fact, Tino said those fish were biting the heavy line. He said they would have been easily taken on the tie-up lines to the Freedom. They were biting so good. So bite the heavy string. You never know when something like that is going to pop up, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Iowa Pacific back into H&M Landing with 20 bluefin tuna. Not bad, nice fish, most of it 25 to 50 pounds. We see fish up over 100 down there on a fairly regular basis. What were they biting? 25 to 30 pound fly line bait. We love Opsin fluorocarbon. You've got to go with Opsin. Greg Brown, the founder of Opsin, will be live on Friedman Adventures this Tuesday night, live from 22nd Street Landing, so you can ask him all kinds of questions, but that's what we like. And also those 100-gram Colt snipers were pretty darn efficient. So once again, that is something to keep in mind. If you're going through the library here on Friedman Adventures, one thing you're going to want to check out is Sam De La Torre. He's over there at Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. He put together a beautiful bluefin tuna tip for you, one that I'm positive will catch you more fish, save you some money, make you more efficient. Check out Sam's great tackle tip. I know you're going to enjoy that. Coronado Islands, once again, kind of slow if you're looking for yellowtail. If you're looking for great whitefish and great sheepshead and some calico bass, you're in the ballpark there. And once again, as I just pointed out, yellowtail explosion, it could happen at any point in time. The weather down that way, the weather everywhere has been kind of, iffy, snotty, a little breezy here and there. Boats that have been out there to the Coronado Islands, the day boats, the guys that fish out of San Diego from 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening, they've picked off a few yellows here and there. They've been seeing the fish. They've been zooming up and down the islands, down there on South Kelp Ridge, down to the rock pile, all over that whole region. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that that bite will take off. A lot of run and gun type fishing, and that is one of my favorite ways to fish. The anticipation when you feel the captain kick up the engines on the boat, he's got his bow pointed to a spot of yellows that he's seen. That anticipation to when you slide in there and cast a bait or throw an iron, it is so fantastic. I don't have to tell you, if you haven't experienced it, you're going to love it. Take my word for it. So Coronado Islands, just like everywhere else, coming together. Sometimes we'll take a step forward, sometimes we'll take a step backwards, all dependent on conditions, weather, water temperature, and that is all kind of in flux, in transition in the springtime. Coastal regions, a little bit of sand bass here and there. We've had that sprinkling of barracuda. No huge numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but we're continuing to watch that for you very, very closely. Sculpin on the twilight trips, even the daytime trips. Decent rock fishing for most everywhere. Some areas better than others, but for the most part, that cooler water temp, the wind, everything has kept our surface bite down. Shouldn't be much longer, and hopefully we'll see more and more barracuda. Hopefully that kind of a bite will stick around this year for a little bit with all this anchovy around, and fingers crossed that we get a migratory kind of sand bass run. That would be really, really cool. Well, speaking of anchovies, David Rosenthal was so kind to send me video of a recent trip he was at Catalina Island. He went over there on the island itself, and he said him and his wife kind of got weathered in there because of that really windy day. If you're going to get weathered in somewhere, Catalina Island is definitely the place to do it. But David looked out and he saw this massive, big area of anchovy, and it was really something to see, because not only was he seeing just the anchovy, he was seeing everything that was feeding on it: calico bass, barracuda, bonita, halibut. And he said he had one of the most wide open calico bass bites you could ever imagine fishing from the beach at Catalina Island. So that was really a special time. David, thanks again for sending the video and keeping us up to date. I really, really appreciate that.
Huge school of anchovy right on this beach. It's being devoured by calicos, halibut, barracuda, and who knows what else. They're just completely out of the water. Pretty much every cast is yielding a fish.
At Catalina Island, boats like the Pursuit are over there once again, seeing some yellows. They've had a white sea bass already this year. Hopefully that will continue to progress. When the weather gets a little bit nicer, it should, and it wouldn't surprise me to see those guys pop out a nice shot of yellows here even this morning, because as you look behind me, it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty nice here right now. This afternoon we're anticipating more wind, but hopefully they'll get over there and make it happen. Surf fishing. Well, my surf fishing extra is walking into the frame back there right now. Perfect timing. There's some halibut up and down the beaches. We're moving away from the grunion run. I have found that sometimes, like in the midst of a grunion run, especially when you're fishing artificials in the surf here, sometimes it's a little slow. It's almost like the fish have gorged themselves all night long and they're like, okay, yeah, I'm done. No more food right now. I can't eat another bite. But as we move away from that grunion run, as we are right now, we should see this thing start to pick up. There's been a little bit of yellowfin croaker up and down the SoCal coast, more and more halibut. That grunion does move all those predators onto the beach, and when they get hungry, they're going to want a lucky crab lure or a little chrome jig, or if you're going to fish bait, that also can be effective. Using grunion for bait is a good way. I remind you, however, it's going to have to be grunion from a previous open run that you have frozen, because grunion runs right now during this month are observation only, and we'll have another one for you in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know all about that. Surf fishing should really start rocking and rolling and getting headed in the right direction. Up there in the Channel Islands, breezy. Yeah, it's been breezy, but man, that 66-pound white sea bass that we saw the other day on board the Cobra, that just bodes well for the future. It just makes me think that they are going to have another great season up there. And some of the local boats, Ventura Sport Fishing has the California, which is the old Matt Walsh. They've been doing quite well on the local whitefish and rockfish, that kind of a thing. Also up there, the Island Spirit, Cody Rogers, he does a great job. And of course the Endeavor with my good friend Tucker McCombs. He's been doing the overnight stuff, and we'll be with him on Wednesday night. And I am hoping for some sea bass. I know we're going to catch lots of rockfish. I know that we're going to get a shot at the sea bass. We just need the weather to cooperate. We've got a great group of anglers going. It's just going to be a lot of fun. And if you're on that trip, I can't wait to see you there. You're going to love fishing the Endeavor. You're going to love the crew on the Endeavor. And we are going to get a shot, hopefully, at some sea bass. And of course, I will be there to make sure if you catch a sea bass that it's on video, or we get a nice photo of it. That is for sure. So hopefully that's going to come together up there in that neck of the woods. I've mentioned whitefish up and down the coast here several times. Please stay tuned. Later today or tomorrow, I'm not sure yet, but we're going to have a whitefish recipe for you. And Chef Jason down there at Shobes in Long Beach, we'll be meeting up there on May 15th at 11:30 in the morning. If you'd like to come by and eat a Dodger dog, watch a sports game, drink a beer, a cup of coffee, whatever it is, Friedman Adventures is going to be there. And Chef Jason is just a great guy. He loves to fish. so you can go down there and chew the fat with him about the latest fishing. In fact, he'll be on board the Endeavor with us. That's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to drop by, that'll be May the 15th. And later on, make sure you check our recipe section, because we're going to have a great whitefish recipe for you. And let me tell you something. That's part of the reason fishing is so great, because the fish you catch, nobody else experiences that. When you go to the market and buy fish, it's just not the same. It's not the same quality. It's not the same experience. It's all of that because you've gone out to the sea, you've caught this fish, and then you provided it for your friends and loved ones. Not only is that a great gesture on your part, but man, there is just nothing in this world that tastes as good as really fresh fish. And Jason will be here to show you how to prepare your whitefish. And then as we move through the season, we are going to have more and more recipes for you. Can't wait for that to go up a little bit later on today, I think. As I said, I'm not positive, but today or tomorrow, whitefish recipe right here. Don't forget our charters. If you'd like to join us, we are really starting to sell out. A couple more spots available on our next trip. Next one with availability, sailing on July the 5th. That's a Wednesday, returning on a Friday. It's a 2-day trip. It's on board the Pride, limited to only 14 anglers. Our options are endless on that trip. Bluefin tuna, white sea bass, yellowtail. It could be any of those, or it could be a combination of the two. And if you'd like some information on our charters, we have fall trips, and those still have openings. You can send me a text, and I'll send you the charter list, 657-227-6459. Our albacore forecast is up, and lots of people are leaving their comments and their predictions on our YouTube channel. Please do that. Leaving a comment helps us a lot, and I like to get the feedback. We're getting everything from "you're crazy, there's no more albacore in the sea" to "yeah, they're coming again," to "who cares about albacore." Whatever it is, whatever you want to share, make sure you watch the albacore forecast and then drop over there on our YouTube channel, leave a comment, and if you could hit that like button, that'd be great. Subscribe, and of course, one thing that would be great is if you could share a video with a friend and ask them to subscribe. That does nothing but help us a great deal. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. All right, beautiful morning. It is absolutely gorgeous. Hope you're having your cup of coffee, and of course we'll keep you in touch with all the very, very latest. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon, and thanks again for joining us.